welcome everyone to the City Council meeting for Monday, August 12th, 2024. If we can have a roll call, Madam Clerk, to establish a quorum.
David Avanzino.
Here.
Steve Holofield.
Here.
Harry Meyer.
Here.
Autumn Slane. Here. Susan Gurning.
Here.
Terry McClung.
I'm here.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, get a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, Mr. Amanzino made the motion, and Mr. Holyfield second. Have two items. One is deleting under new business, item number 3, the resolution to waive bidding for the new pump for the Whiteley lift station. We went ahead and had that bid out, so we don't need to waive the bidding on it. And also, I'd like to add street vacation resolution for a public hearing for Dolores Avenue. Yeah. Anybody else have anything?
Could I also add just a discussion of city taxes?
What?
City taxes.
City taxes.
City taxes, or are you talking about all, or CPC?
Well, yes, all and CAPC,
Oh,
mainly talking about the CAPC.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. All those in favor of the agenda as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. I get a motion to approve the agendas.
I move we approve the agenda for July 8th, 2024.
Do you mean minutes?
Minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Mr. Holyfield made the motion. Mr. Avanzino seconded to approve the minutes for July 8th.
The minutes, yeah.
Do we got any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's so moved. Now I get a motion for the approval of the minutes for July 22nd.
I move to approve the minutes for July 22nd.
Second.
All right. Motion been made and seconded to approve the minutes for July 22nd. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? So moved. All right, we have under CAPC, well, we've got a couple of vacancies in the Planning Commission, so anybody out in TV land, if you're interested in public service and being on the Planning Commission, let us know. We've got some vacancies on there. And under the CAPC, we have 2 nominations that came from the CAPC. We've got position 2, Robert Smid, for position 7. No, position 2, I'm sorry. So,
I nominate Robert Schmidt for CAPC, seat 2.
Second.
Mr. Holyfield made the motion, Mr. Amanzino seconded. Discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, our second nomination from the CAPC is Heather Wilson for position 7. Get him.
I nominate Heather Wilson for CAPC, seat number 7.
Second.
Mr. Holyfield made the motion, Mr. Amanzino seconded for Heather Wilson. Any discussion? Mr. McClung?
This is the at-large position, I guess, we should call it, yeah. That's all.
Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we have a vacancy, well, we don't have a vacancy, we got Rita Rita has been nominated for the Cemetery Commission.
I nominate Britta Refke for the Cemetery Commission.
I'll second.
Motion been made by Mr. Holyfield and seconded. It's all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. All right, that brings us up to our public comments. If we got anybody in public? All right, moving right along. Get a motion to discuss sewer updates.
Motion to discuss?
Second.
All right. Here comes Mr. Simon.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So as far as the sewer plant progress goes, we haven't made a whole lot of progress. We're still waiting on that funding to come through. So as soon as we have that, I'll definitely have more updates for you as far as that goes. In regards to the SBR that we had the valve issues with for the influent valve, we do have that fixed. As soon as we got it fixed, the blower motor quit for that SBR, so we're running both the SBRs off one blower motor. We do have 2 new blower motors coming in. They should have been delivered last week, but I think we're waiting on the vendor to come in and install them. So they'll be the one that's not working will be back up here pretty soon, and then we'll have one for a standby motor because we didn't have a standby. So. As far as since the last council meeting, what we've done in repairs with our collection system is at 3190 East Van Buren, we did a sewer repair, and then over on Spring Garden, we had another sewer repair. But I'll stand for any questions.
When do we expect to see McClellan Engineering again? Any idea?
Yeah, when we hear more information back on the loans that we've applied for, I'm sure they'll be here.
No idea.
No, we're kind of at the mercy of the state and federal government on the loans right now.
What about the cost analysis or the pricing analysis?
That's coming up pretty quick. We've been working on that Act 605 compliant rate studies on the water and sewer system.
Studies.
We have a meeting every 2 weeks on that, and we're getting pretty close to getting all that information over to the vendor that's doing that work for us. So that should be coming down the pike before too much longer. I'd figure within the next couple months, probably next month or so, we'll have more information on that.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Next item of business, new business is temporary entertainment district ordinance. Terry McClung.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
We have one. We have the ordinance, and so I might as well just go ahead and I'll make a motion that we sign this ordinance and number.
Pull your microphone a little bit closer. Sorry.
I'd like to make a motion of, we have the ordinance in front of us. I'd like to make a motion that we assign this ordinance a number, or let's assign this. I make a motion that we assign this ordinance a number and put it on its first reading. I
Second.
think I get it out.
All right. I think Mr. McClung made the motion to put it on the first reading. Was that Mr. Myers? Did you second that?
I second.
Okay. Sorry, Ms. Slane. All right. Any discussion? All those in favor?
We have
signify-
discussion.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Do we need this? There's no evidence that temporary entertainment districts bring any more tourism to town. I mean, I don't think that Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue will be bigger if we have a temporary entertainment district or anything else, any of the car shows. We have the people come for car shows anyway, so why do we need more alcohol walking around? I don't understand. Anybody got an answer for that?
I think from what I heard the last time was if somebody wanted to have another event or have not event, but a temporary permanent area or temporary area, that it was whoever could get in first to get their application in. So if there were 2, that gives you the opportunity, or someone else in the city, so there's no unfair advantage.
First come, first serve.
Mr. Almazzino?
I do agree with this ordinance. And to answer your question, Harry, The temporary entertainment districts do bring business to town, to our local business owners, to the shops downtown that are affected in that entertainment district, whatever the outlines may be. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a very good thing for our tourists, for our business owners. Brings lodging in for various events like St. Patrick's Day, Oktoberfest, the myriad of things that go on over at Pine Mountain. So I think it's a good thing.
Any further discussion? Mr. Meyer?
When we first entertained the whole entertainment district idea, I can remember people coming saying that, you know, Eureka Springs was going to die on the vine if we didn't do this sort of thing. And they asked, other people are going to do it first. And as far as I know, that hasn't affected us. We don't have a permanent one, and it hasn't affected us. The temporary ones, well, I don't see the data on that, but all right, that's my opinion.
Do you see a disadvantage?
Ms.
There's
Slane?
citizens that don't like it.
Wait a minute, it's Ms. Slaines.
I understand the concern and not really understanding the district, but I think a lot of it comes with an ease of doing business. When you're running these events, there's just more details taken when you have an entertainment district instead of trying to corral people from drinking only in certain areas, and then it just contains them in that area, and it's just a little bit easier to maintain. And I think it does bring business to town because it allows them to kind of have a festival and entertainment and an area that they can socialize and yes, drink.
Further comments? All right, we got a motion and a second to sign this ordinance and number and read it for passage on first reading. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
All right, 5-1. Passes.
Assigning ordinance number 2356, an ordinance to permit more than one temporary entertainment district at the same time and to ban public resources for the benefit of entertainment districts. Whereas ordinance number 2283 passed on September 9, 2019, created standards for temporary and permanent entertainment districts in the city of Eureka Springs. Whereas section 7A, paragraphs 4 and 5 of ordinance 2283 contain language pertaining to the use of public resources for benefit of temporary and permanent entertainment districts in the city and limit temporary entertainment districts to one at a time. Whereas public resources should not be used for the benefit or security of temporary and permanent entertainment districts in the city of Eureka Springs, and it may be beneficial to have more than one temporary entertainment district at a time. Now, therefore, be it hereby ordained by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Section 1, Section 7A, paragraphs 4 and 5 are hereby revoked. Section 2, Ordinance 2283 is amended to entertainment districts shall maintain private security subject to the approval of the police chief. Section 3, Ordinance 2283 is amended so that more than one temporary entertainment district is permissible at the same time.
All right, get a motion to approve ordinance 2356 on its first reading.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. McClung made the motion to approve. Mr. Greening seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right, Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and read ordinance number 2356 for its second reading by title only.
All right, get a second.
Second.
All right, Ms. Slane made second. Mr. McClung's ordinance to read ordinance 2356, suspend the rules and read by title only. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
No?
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Susan Gruning.
Yes.
An ordinance number 2356, an ordinance to permit more than one temporary entertainment district at the same time and to ban public resources for the benefit of entertainment districts.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2356 on its second reading.
Second.
Mr. McClung made the motion and Ms. Slane seconded to approve ordinance 2356 on second reading. Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Susan Gruning,
Yes.
Harry Meyer.
No?
All right. Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and read ordinance number 2356 for its third and final reading by title only.
Second.
Mr. McClung made the motion to suspend the rules and read ordinance 2356 by title only, and Ms. Slane seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Susan Gruning,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
No?
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Steve Holofield.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2356, an ordinance to permit more than one temporary entertainment district at the same time and to ban public resources for the benefit of entertainment districts.
Mr.
I'd like to
McClung?
make a motion we go ahead and approve ordinance number 2356 on its third reading.
Second.
Okay, Mr. McClung made the motion and Mr. Avanzino seconded to approve ordinance 2356 on third and final reading. Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Susan Gruning,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Harry Meyer.
No?
All right, thank you. All right, our next item is item number 2 on new business resolution to waive the bidding for Highway 62 patching. This is a resolution to waive the bidding to patch area, I believe. Simon, is this up by the, I don't want to speak out of turn.
Motion to discuss?
Yeah, okay.
Second.
Second, okay.
All right,
Go ahead.
so the two patched areas, one's in front of the across the street from the community building there on Highway 62, and the other one is over by O'Reilly's.
Where's the other one?
O'Reilly's,
Okay.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. So these are two leaks that we had last winter that caused damage to the highway. The highway department's requesting that we have those milled and overlaid. The reason that I went with Emery Sap is because they're approved vendor for the overlays for the state. They're the ones that have done the overlay programs here in the city as well. They're state approved, and being that it's a state highway, it needs to be state approved. So I'm asking council to waive competitive bidding and approve the bid as submitted by Emery Sap.
I move we assign this resolution a number and read it for passage.
Second.
All right, Mr. Myers made a motion to sign this resolution number, read for passage. Ms. Slane seconded. Any further discussion? Mr. McClung?
32,000 for, what is it, about an 8 by 20, two sections, 8 by 20 or so? How big are they?
They're roughly about 175 feet by the complete lane width plus the shoulder over by the old water tower. And then O'Reilly's is probably about 14 feet wide, about 175 feet long.
175 feet long.
Yes, that's correct.
I don't remember the damage being that severe.
Yeah, it's pretty much all the way across O'Reilly's Park and lot area, a little bit past O'Reilly's to the west. So, yeah.
It's 70 tons of asphalt.
Right.
Any further discussion? All right, got a motion and a second to read this, sign this a number and read for passage. Roll call.
Harry Meyer,
Yes.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Susan Gerning,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Autumn Slane.
Yes.
Thank you.
Assigning resolution number 866, a resolution to waive bidding to patch a section of Highway 62, whereas the City of Eureka Springs Public Works Department deems it appropriate to patch a section of Highway 62, and whereas this purchase is non-budgeted and will be paid for by utilizing the street fund, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, that Section 1, the City Council does waive bidding and authorizes the allocation of $32,027.54 to patch a section of Highway 62.
Thank you very much. That'll take us up to our next item. Item number 4, Permanent Entertainment District discussion. Susan Gruning, get a motion to discuss.
Move we discuss?
Sir, we still need to
Oh,
do.
I'm sorry.
We still need to do item 3 because the council has to approve the expenditure.
I thought you said we need to remove that.
We don't have to waive the competitive bidding, but we still need to have approval because of the amount. I got the bids, I just need the approval. I don't have to waive the competitive bidding because I didn't do the bidding.
Okay, so we're asking, sorry, let's back up at the end. What we're wanting in this case, Simon, is to approve, let's see if I have that. Yep. Approve the purchase of the pump
That's correct.
for $34,700.
Yes, sir.
So we don't need the resolution.
I think we do need a resolution on that.
But that, I was told it was to waive bidding, so that's a bid waive resolution.
The only one we needed to waive bids on was the asphalt.
Mr. City Attorney. Do we need can we amend this resolution, or do we just need to wait? You can amend it. Okay, how would you suggest we amend this? There you go.
I'm sorry.
We can just say, we accept the bid and authorize the allocation. That's all we really need to do.
Do we need a resolution, or can that be a, Mr. McClung?
He's already got the bid?
We have the
Have the
bid, we
bids.
just need to approve. I don't even think we need a resolution, do we, for us? Okay.
No, I don't.
We just need a motion to approve the bid for $34,700 for the purchase of 50 horsepower pump for the Whitley lift station.
Need a motion to discuss.
Yeah, get a motion to discuss.
Motion to
dis-
discuss.
Second.
All right, so, Mr. McClung, did you have a question now?
Well, I mean, we can do it by motion, or we can still do it with this resolution. If he's already got it priced out, and
We've already got,
then as far as we're concerned, we're waiving the bidding. He's already got it done.
we're approving the purchase. We're not waiving the bidding,
Yeah,
we're
we're
approving. He's already bid it, he's got 3 bids.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not. What we're doing is approving the purchase of it.
This resolution doesn't approve the purchase of it? Looks like it does.
Well, we don't need a resolution to, we
Okay,
need a
well,
resolution to waive the bidding.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right. Any further discussion?
Well,
Mr. McClung made a motion to approve the bid of $34,700 for the purchase of a new 50 horsepower pump for Whitley Lift Station.
Under section 1, it says plus freight and taxes.
I'm sorry,
It says $34,700 plus freight and taxes.
plus freight and taxes.
So you need to add that, right?
Yeah.
Is that included in this or no?
No, the taxes and the freight, when they submitted the bid, it did not include freight or taxes, so we
Any
need to account for that.
Ballpark figure what that's going to be?
No, I don't know off the top of my head.
You got any guess?
Well, our tax rate was at the 9-point-something% for taxes, and then the.
How much?
What's our tax rate here in Eureka Springs?
Well, surely not pay more than just what state tax, do we?
State and city and county.
I think it'd probably be
it's-
more for the freight.
Yeah, I think the freight will be higher, and for me to give a ballpark, I would
50
figure it'd
horse
be
pump.
a couple $100 anyways. It's a pretty big pump.
I'm just appreciative that we're getting these parts in. That's
This,
where I'm at.
yeah, for a little bit of the discussion part of that and history of this lift station, they put this lift station in years ago down there by the, kind of behind the Eastgate Shopping Center to service that hotel and whatnot that was there. The hotel had their own little sewer treatment plant. It's kind of still there in the woods, dysfunctional. And they put 50 horsepower pumps. This is the largest lift station that we have in the city. The rest of our lift stations run anywhere from 5 to maybe like 7 horsepower pumps. These are 50 horse pumps. These are big pumps, and it doesn't really serve a whole lot of people. But we only have one pump in the lift station right now. So if that one pump fails, we're going to have a sanitary overflow, and we can prevent that absolutely by putting an extra pump in there.
Can you come back with Mr. McClung?
Tax is going to be around $1,700 at 5%. That's ballpark. And then you've got, I can't believe the shipping's going to be that much. I mean, how big a pump is it?
It's 50 horse.
It's 50
Well,
horse.
It's 50 horse. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
pretty
mean,
good size.
size-wise.
Is it as big as that box over there?
Yeah, at least. It's probably as big as this thing is and around.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it
It's
takes all we have out of
So if
our,
we had
Cheap, really.
$2,000 added, 2,500 would cover the shipping and
yeah, I would say 2,500. Yeah.
Comes out of a different line item anyway, shipping.
I would think $35,000 total, then we should cover it. That gives us a little, all right.
And I could probably work with the vendor on that as well and just make sure we stay within that.
You're adding on $300.
Yeah. No, 35,000.
It's 34.7,
Yeah.
It'd be $300.
so you're going to add on
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I'm sorry.
$300.
Yeah, I was looking at the other thing. You're right.
If you do it for 37, I'll contact the vendor and tell them that we need to stay under that 37 mark. And that'd give $2,300 for taxes and freight.
37.
I move, we authorize $37,000 for this.
We-
Second.
All right. Was that Ms. Holyfield? All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Meyer made the motion to approve $37,000 for the purchase of a new 50 horsepower pump for Whitley Lift Station. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Any more than that, we'll take it out of your diet.
I don't know if you can take much more out of my diet. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That puts us back on track. So get a motion to discuss the permanent entertainment district discussion. Susan Gurney.
I move we discuss.
Second.
All right. You have the
Okay.
floor.
So the reason I brought this back up again is the last time we had it, on the agenda, we didn't really discuss. And I'd like us to consider just writing an ordinance for a permanent entertainment district at this moment for Pine Mountain. I feel that it is a zone area that we can control people coming and going at this time. Can almost use it kind of as a test for other areas. We have many of, and I called the state of Arkansas, but didn't get the number, but so many of our competing towns here in Arkansas have a permanent entertainment district that is controlled. The temporary is working very well. I don't know of anybody that's ever been denied and not working. So if we have a permanent where we have an area that is regulated by the zoned area, that somebody can walk out with a beer, listen to some music. If they happen to have an event, because this is separate than having events, if they happen to have an event, they can also have that. I know we worry about alcohol, but I think that the owners have as much to lose in serving alcohol no matter what. So basically, I'm just looking to write an ordinance for the permanent entertainment district for Pine Mountain and to see what we need to do to get there.
Mr. McClung?
We are looking at alcohol because they can do all of that now without the alcohol. However, it's not that I'm opposed necessarily. I'm keeping an open mind on this. But I think that before I could come on board, I have to see some kind of plan by the owners of that property as to what they intend to do. You know, it's just say, here you go. Yeah, you can do it, but do what? There's no plan. It just doesn't feel right. I'd like to see something from them and what they intend to do, what they want it to be.
Mr. Holyfield?
I'm open-minded about it too, and I know it'd be worked out in the ordinance if we did get that far to write it, but I like annual review. It would come back to the city council every year to renew it. That way, if we do get a lot of complaints from the neighbors, or if we have a lot of incidents of violations, that we can just say, we're not going to renew it this year. So I'd be more open to approving it if we can write that into the ordinance.
Mr. Meyer?
Pine Mountain is surrounded by residential. Behind it, it's all residential. I know I can hear the music from Pine Mountain at my house, and I'm over on Cross Street. If they've got a permanent entertainment district, then any weekend they can have a band playing down there, loud noises, whatever. The folks in my neighborhood don't want it. Temporary is, look, they changed the boundaries of their temporary entertainment district since the first one we gave them. The first one we gave them was strictly confined to the back of outside the parking lot, behind the parking lot. And when it came for the latest one, he said, well, I don't know about that. Somebody else did that, and we want to be able to walk around the cars and have a beer. Well, I'm opposed to it. I don't think they'll manage it properly. And they got plenty of business.
Mr. Almanzino?
Yeah, I guess this is a question for Forrest. And since I wasn't here when we were going over the previous permanent entertainment district, when a city, if we as a council sign off on this, do we then become liable for anything that could happen within that entertainment district?
No.
Okay, so, and I'm just going to throw this out there for the Johnsons, is that I have a big problem with that observation tower smack in the middle of the district. I mean, I would require that they close that down especially if people are going to be drinking and walking around and going up that tower and kind of stuff. And then also in the ordinance, I see that it has to be within the fenced area. I haven't seen the back where they have entertainment. Is that area fenced in?
Partially.
Ms. Slang?
The back of their entertainment is literally like right behind Polly's, and it goes off to the bluff. So, you know, the band plays there and everybody's in the parking lot, I think is
Gotcha.
more
Okay.
what it is. But as far as, you know, this is solely their responsibility. If they have somebody that comes out of there as in a wreck, it is still their responsibility. They are the ABC license holder. The ABC license holder is still responsible for drunk driving, over-serving, all of the things that you have in an establishment. So, I mean, I think it's a great idea. I think if not there, where? I think what a perfect situation. It's in a parking lot. It's all contained. And a sunset clause, I think, would be nice.
Mr. Meyer?
There's still a question, if the parking lot is included in the entertainment district, even the temporary, then I can go in there and see what kind of beer they're selling and bring my cooler full of beer in. They're not going to profit from the beer that I bring in the back in my car, and they're not going to have to worry about me getting drunk because they're not serving me and they won't care. I don't like the idea.
Ms. Greening?
So from what I understand, they are going to revise the map, and I think we may be confusing a little bit with what we approved for the temporary district, where they do ask to be able to use the whole parking lot with the permanent. I believe with the permanent, they are willing to downscale it, so it's not necessarily the whole parking lot, but just to be able to, they're trying to grow that area, which I think is commendable. We want business owners to come into town. As far as the noise level, there is a decibel level, and yes, noise travels, because I hear it as well from different venues. But that's part of living in a valleyed, echoey area. The tower, I agree with. I think if we write in the ordinance for this particular district that we put that off limits, just to protect everybody. The sunset clause, I think, would be included, but we have the option to write these things in. We're the council members, so we can do that. We can have it annually where they're revised, and then it would be up to Pine Mountain to show their new map. I'm just asking the council that let's write it. You don't have to approve it, but at least let's write it and put it out there.
Mr. McClung?
I still believe, before I'm on board to even write it, is I would like them to have a game plan. You know, I understand. I'd love to see all those storefronts full of shops, retail, you know, businesses. I mean, I would like to see it flourish again. It has before, but it's been a long time. And they've owned it a long time. And, you know, it hasn't been done, and if they want us to be involved to try and help them, I want to see what they're doing to help themselves, truly help themselves in getting tenants. Haven't seen it.
Ms. Slang?
Well, speaking to the tower, it's always been locked since I've been going to Polly's since they opened, and it's always locked. So I don't know what they're doing with it, but I think Polly's and the little amphitheater that they have out there, I think they're making steps. They're making moves. They're doing and cleaning up, and there's all kinds of cleanup going on across the street with all the little shops. So I mean, I think that I don't want to stop their forward momentum. I don't want to discourage them in any way. I think it's not going to hurt us one bit to put a sunset clause on this, revisit this next year, see how the residents feel about it, see how it's going, and call it a day. Let these people run their business.
Mr. Meyer?
If they're willing to definitely close that off from the parking lot for a temporary, or for a permanent, why aren't they doing it for a temporary? Because they got a permission already, so they get by with it? Look, they ran off all their renters there. They had people in some of those shops, and they kicked them out years ago. Now they want to revive it. Well, that's fine, but I don't think beer is going to help revive it. Sorry.
Mr. McClung?
I got my 2 cents on the tower. That's their tower. You know, if they want to let people up there, let them go. You know, that's their responsibility, not ours. You know, if they think it's a liability, they'll close it. I'm not concerned about that.
Mr. Meyer?
I think Jacob asked them to close it because the thing at the top is less than 3 feet high. You hit the rail.
Oh.
All right. Ms. Groening, you want to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to write an ordinance for a permanent entertainment district for Pine Mountain.
Second.
All right, Ms. Groening made a motion to write an ordinance for a permanent entertainment district for Pine Mountain, and Ms. Slane second. Any further discussion?
Yes.
All right.
We're elected by the citizens, not the businesses. That's all I've got to say.
Anybody else? All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
No.
I think that's 4-2. Am I correct? Mr. McClung, Mr. Myers? All right, motion passes. All right, we will get an ordinance written and bring it back to the council for discussion. All right, that brings us back to, speaking of entertainment districts, we have 2 more coming up. We got a resolution for a temporary entertainment district for Oktoberfest for September 28th. Get a motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
All right. I think we have a representative here. Are you representing Oktoberfest by any chance, Damon? Are you representing Oktoberfest by any chance?
I am Damon Hinkey from 19 Thomas Drive. You may not know me, but I've lived here for a little while. What would you like to know about Oktoberfest?
Well, tell us where you're going to do it. Pine
Okay,
Mountain?
so great. Oktoberfest is going to happen on September 28th. Last year it happened across from New Delhi. We were unsure about what the status of the Sky Bridge was, so in discussions we decided to move it to the courthouse parking lot. Actually kind of works out nicer. The entrance and exit for Oktoberfest, meaning the beer garden portion, which is really not a piece of the entertainment district, will be in the courthouse parking lot, providing easy access to the bathrooms at the auditorium. Now you can walk out. If you approve the entertainment district, it stretches from basically the courthouse up to the Y at Center Street, nothing on Main Street. So you're going from Center Street, Spring Street, straight down to the courthouse there. That's the entertainment district. It's virtually the same size as it was last Oktoberfest. The only difference is we walked everybody across the Sky Bridge and down to the parking lot. And this year we'll just continue them down to Main Street and into the beer festival. There's honestly not an excessive amount of people that go back and forth. The beer festival will be big enough to hold most of the people inside because we have an off-site permit, picnic permit, whatever you call it. So most people are going to hang out. The music's not until the CHC placed music in the park later in the afternoon. It's not until 3 or 4. It runs till 6. The entire district is 11 to 7, so most people are off into the bars in evening time. And talking to Billy Floyd, Chief of Police, we talked about security. We will have door people, obviously, because we're required to at our district in our area. And because the bars will have their own staff watching in and out in downtown, and they're all licensed vendors, there's not a bunch of random vendors coming into the area. We don't anticipate a need for additional security because of the small size of the district. We're talking about 250 to 300 people throughout the day, not necessarily all at one time. It's not as big as we'd like it to be, but that's the way it exists. Questions?
Question. The map doesn't shows the footbridge, so I think you need to change your map.
It shows what?
Shows the bridge.
Oh, is the bridge in the map? Okay, we'll adjust the map.
And
Well, the bridge actually is still in, I mean, we can cut off the bridge, but it doesn't go further down Main Street than the bridge. We can bump it up to the intersection, but the reason I left the bridge in there is because that intersection is so dangerous. I didn't want somebody trying to walk across the middle of the intersection versus using the bridge.
And the bridge was open today.
Yeah, it's been open.
Yeah.
Bridge is open, yeah.
Right, turns out the bridge is viable now.
Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we sign this resolution, and I'm going to read it for passage.
Second?
Second.
I would like to make one a change in here under Section 2, location.
yeah,
It notes that it says shall be located at Pine Mountain Village.
yeah, that's
And
not,
will be on the west or the north side of the courthouse parking lot.
Correct.
Okay.
don't we have to approve the use of our parking lot? There's,
It's in the special event permit, and it's actually, you don't have to approve, the mayor's office approves it.
All right, so we got a motion to sign this resolution a number and read for passage
and strike the Pine Mountain Village.
and strike the Pine Mountain Village. Who made the second?
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Green seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call?
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Carrie Meyer,
No,
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Susan Grunning,
Yes.
Terry McClung.
Yes.
Signing resolution number 867, a resolution to authorize a temporary entertainment district and establishing standards for its operation for Oktoberfest. Whereas prior ordinances of the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas allow the creation and governance of temporary entertainment districts, and whereas application has been made for a temporary entertainment district to be granted, and whereas the mayor and required department heads of the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas have reviewed the application and found it appropriate to forward for city council consideration. And whereas the city council of the city of Eureka Springs has made a comprehensive study of the application and its request. Now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, Section 1, purpose and intent. The purpose of the entertainment district is to promote hospitality and tourism within the city and to highlight restaurant, nightlife, entertainment, and hospitality options for tourists. Section 2, location. The temporary entertainment district shall be located at, what was it,
North side,
the auditorium?
yeah. Between the auditorium and the courthouse. Okay.
Well, it stretches farther than that. Okay, I'll just do that.
Attached
In front.
map. Just define
Okay.
it by the attached map.
Okay. Located in the attached map. Section 3, dates and times hereby permitted, September 28th, 2024, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Section 4, identification of participants. Those persons who wish to possess or consume from an open alcoholic beverage container within the district or enter the district from an alcohol beverage permitted establishment with an open container shall first obtain a wristband, and beverages will be served in prepackaged cans. Section 4, permitted sound. Live amplified sound, including music, shall be permitted under the following restrictions. Music can only be performed and or played from the hours of 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Stage or broadcast area shall be located within the fenced area. Sound produced shall not exceed 85 decibels. Section 6, applicable state and local laws. All laws and ordinances not addressed herein shall remain in full force and effect. Section 7, removal of alcoholic beverage from the district by participants. It shall be unlawful for any person to remove an open alcoholic beverage container from any entertainment district. All unfinished qualities of alcoholic beverage must be properly disposed of prior to the participants leaving the entertainment district. Section 8, Police and Fire Authority. Nothing in this resolution prevents the Chief of Eureka Springs Police Department or the Chief of Eureka Springs Fire Department from suspending the operation hours of any entertainment district if necessary to comply with local, state, or federal law or fire codes, or if necessary to protect the public health, safety, and welfare.
All right, thank you. That brings us up to our next item of business, item number 6, resolution for a temporary business entertainment district for the Antique Auto on August 6th, 8th, and 7th at Pine Mountain Village. Motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
All right, this is Mr. Meyer.
Here again, we don't have a map of where they want to do this. And they've agreed for a permanent one to change the map and do it the way they used to, but now we don't have a map. So until I see a map of what they want to do, I'm not going to vote on that. I just can't.
All right, any other discussion? All right, get a motion for a resolution number.
I'll make a motion to assign this temporary district
A number.
Number.
Read for passage.
and read for passage. Thank you.
Do I have a second? All right, Ms. Lane made the motion to assign a number and read for passage, and Ms. Gruening seconded. Further discussion?
Should
Mr.
not
McClung?
all temporary.
Mr. McClung?
Oh, sorry.
Did we not pass one like this already?
We did, but it wasn't for the
auto.
antique car. It wasn't for the antique car.
No, but it was where we allowed it all,
Yes,
for the full parking lot.
Corvette and Mustang both.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was thinking of it.
I
Okay,
think there's Corvettes and Mustangs both.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Myers?
No, I'm just saying we don't know what the boundaries are this time. Every time we vote on an entertainment district, it could be a different boundary, so. I don't think this application is complete without a boundary map. We got till October, so
All
why
right.
don't we table this until they can produce a map?
Did you make a motion to table it?
I moved to table it.
All right, do I hear a second? Motion is on here to table it. Okay, motion fails for lack of second. Mr. McClung?
Didn't we approve it for the full parking lot? Didn't we? That's what we did before. Yeah, that's what, I just want to make that clear.
Clear. The entire 5 acre. Yeah.
But it does not, it
You-
says
you've been-
stage
your
and
motion-
broadcast, you know.
Your motion's been heard, your statement. So any further discussion? Ms. Gruening?
It says on here that it's September 6th and 7th.
Ah, that's the October one. Yeah, it is. It's September.
What it says here.
So I'm just saying it's not an October event. So
Right.
we have one meeting before then?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So, all right, any further discussion? Okay, we have a motion and second to assign this number and read for passage. Go ahead, roll call.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
Harry Meyer,
No,
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Steve Holofield,
Yes.
Susan Gruening.
Yes.
Assigning resolution number 868, a resolution to authorize a temporary entertainment district and establishing standards for its operation for Antique Auto Show. Whereas prior ordinances of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas allow the creation and governance of temporary entertainment districts. And whereas application has been made for a temporary entertainment district to be granted. And whereas the mayor and required department heads of the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas have reviewed the application and found it appropriate to forward for city council consideration. Whereas the city council of the city of Eureka Springs has made a comprehensive study of the application and its request. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Section 1, Purpose and Intent. The purpose of the entertainment district is to promote hospitality and tourism within the city and to highlight restaurant, nightlife, entertainment, and hospitality options for tourists. Section 2, Location. The temporary entertainment district shall be located at Pine Mountain Village, 5 acres of paved retail area. Section 3, Dates and times hereby permitted, September 6th and 7th, 2024, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Section 4, Identification of participants. Those persons who will wish to possess or consume from an open alcoholic beverage container within the district or enter the district from an alcoholic beverage permitted establishment with an open container shall first obtain a wristband, and beverages will be served in prepackaged cans. Section 4, Permitted sound. Live amplified sound, including music, shall be permitted under the following restrictions. Music can only be performed and/or played from the hours of 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Stage or broadcast area shall be located within the fenced area. Sound produced shall not exceed 85 decibels. Section 6, Applicable state and local laws. All laws and ordinances not addressed herein shall remain in full force and effect. Section 7, Removal of alcoholic beverage from the district by participants. Shall be unlawful for any person to remove an open alcoholic beverage container from any entertainment district. All unfinished quantities of alcohol beverage must be properly disposed of prior to the participants leaving the temporary entertainment district. Section 8, Police and Fire Authority. Nothing in this resolution prevents the Chief of Eureka Springs Police Department or the Chief of Eureka Springs Fire Department from suspending the operation hours of any entertainment district if necessary, to comply with local, state, or federal law or fire codes, or if necessary to protect the public health, safety, and welfare.
All right, thank you all very much. Next item of business is resolution setting a public hearing for street vacation. Get a motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
All right, this is just a motion to, or a resolution just setting a public hearing for a street vacation. The property, Mr. McClung?
Yeah, I have a question on it.
Okay.
On the map that's provided, there's a little area where it's drawn in with the red that's signifying the piece, I believe, to be closed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who owns the lot, this lot here, this one that's directly west of this one? I assume they own both sides, is that correct? Who owns these two lots?
I can check if you guys want to, on Act Data Scout right now, if you guys want to continue discussion, I can come back to it.
You're talking about the lot to the left of the green?
Well, the green lot and the lot to the left of the green, yes.
One that would be landlocked if it was
Okay.
vacant.
I
Give me a
believe they
second
own
and
the
I can
green
pull it up. Yeah, they own the green lot and they own the lot south of it as well.
No, I understand south of it, their name's on it.
Yeah,
The one to the west.
I'm pulling it up right now. Give me
Okay.
just a second.
Okay.
It's going to take me a minute.
Anybody else have any discussion, comments while we're looking on this? The owner isn't here by any chance, is he? No.
No. It's Pine Oak, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't notice that, Terry. That's a good eye there.
That is the John Mitchell Irrevocable Trust.
If
There's a house encroachment as well there. The house is built on the street.
Pardon me?
The street, the section of street they're wanting to be vacated, there's a house built on it. There's house encroachment.
Right there.
Okay, and that's fine, but, that needs to be cleaned up some way. But we can't, if somebody else owns that lot to the west, we can't cut off their access.
True.
Does Mr. Mitchell own the rest of that property no, that's probably into the Ozarks owns some of it, I'm sure, in that big area that's not platted? You got anything under that shows?
The big area on the left, that large line, that's Best Western.
Well, I understand the left of that lot it is, but to the north of that lot, to the west of Ronnie Young's, Marcia Yearsley's, and that going north, who owns all that?
It doesn't
I'm just
list,
trying to make sure that we don't landlock somebody.
it doesn't list anyone that owns that stretch. So I don't know.
It's who?
City mail.
Here,
I doubt it.
it's not assigned to anyone. I think it might be utility easement. I'm not sure.
See the house is right down
Mr. Alvenzino?
here. Right, yeah.
Do we know who actually owns that house? Because now that you bring it up, I see the house in the map.
Which
There's
house?
a house in the area that's marked off with red marks,
Yeah.
the vacation area.
Street.
Yeah, that's the person
the
requesting the
person, okay.
vacation.
Gotcha.
And they own both lots on either side.
Okay.
And I understand that, and it needs to be resolved some way, but at the same time, access needs to be available through that house, or that not house, but lot behind it. I don't even know what the terrain is for that lot, but I know the John Mitchell Air, and I know that if they don't have access, they're going to squeal. I would too.
I can notify her before the public hearing if you want.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's critical, because I'm not going to prove anything until that's resolved. We can't do that.
No, we can't.
Mr. Meyer?
Perhaps they want to vacate that. Perhaps they can allow an easement on the south side along their property to get to that. Next to the house.
That's between the property owners.
True.
So tonight, we're just approving the
Just setting a public hearing to see
We're not
about
approving
vacating.
the resolution.
Yeah. That's all this resolution is, setting a public hearing.
Have we had a motion to do that yet?
No.
I make a motion that we assign this resolution a number and read it.
Second.
Okay. Ms. McClung made the motion to assign a number to this resolution, read for passage, and Mr. Holyfield second. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call.
Autumn Slane,
Yes.
Steve Holyfield,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yep.
David Avanzino,
Yes.
Susan Gerding,
Yes.
Harry Meyer.
Yes, I can say yes once in a while. That's steep as hell. Goes down.
I'm sure it is.
Assigning resolution number 869, a resolution to set a public hearing date for consideration of vacating a section of Dolores Avenue, whereas the property owner of Lot 4 and Block 45 and Lot 1 and Block 46 of the Freeman Edition has submitted a petition to the City of Eureka Springs to vacate an unused section of Dolores Avenue running east and west. And whereas the signed petition was submitted to the council in regular session on August 12, 2024, along with a copy of the plat showing streets, alleys, and adjoining lots. And whereas Arkansas Code 14-301-302C provides that the city council shall by resolution fix a day for the hearing of the petition filed to vacate a street or alley. And whereas the law further directs the city clerk to give notice of the meeting by publication once per week for 2 consecutive weeks in some newspaper published in Carroll County, Arkansas, and having general circulation in the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, the petition to vacate the above described street set for hearing on September 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the auditorium of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and the city clerk shall give notice of this meeting by publication as set forth by Arkansas Code 14-301-302C.
Thank you. That brings us up to item for city taxes.
Motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Second?
Okay.
Ms. Lane?
Well, you know. I want to draw your attention to the pressing concern regarding the potential loss of our tourism tax. Tourism has long been a cornerstone of our economy. The revenue generated from the tourism tax plays a crucial role in supporting our businesses, allowing them to thrive and create jobs for our residents. The potential loss of this tax poses a significant threat to our economy's stability. Without it, we risk substantial impacts on our local entrepreneurs and their ability to operate successfully in already challenging economic landscape. Our businesses are already facing daunting challenges from rising costs to changing consumer behaviors. In this environment, losing an additional revenue stream is just not a setback. It could be a tipping point that leads closures and job losses. We can't afford to allow our local economy to suffer further due to poor planning or lack of foresight. I urge this council to consider the implications of not having a proper fail-safe or alternative avenues in place to ensure effective collection. We must be proactive in protecting our city's financial future. The absence of a solid plan leaves us vulnerable and unprepared to navigate the difficulties ahead. If we fail to address this issue, we do not jeopardize our businesses, but we also diminish the quality of life for our residents. I'm suggesting we have a workshop to discuss what our possibilities are for this. She's so close to getting signatures, and Ms. Pat is pushing forward, and this will go on the ballot. So if this goes on the ballot and it goes to zero, we cannot just be sitting ducks. I have 3 businesses in town, and this is just not acceptable. It's not acceptable. So I'm proposing even making an ordinance for this to replace the tax.
I don't follow what you're saying. An ordinance to replace what tax?
If we have an ordinance that replaces the tax in the case that the CAPC is voted out, we will have an ordinance on the ballot that says this is what we are prepared to do if that happens. And then that will have to be voted on as well because this is a city tax. So I'm saying run 2 things to be voted on.
May I say something?
Mr. McClung?
Yeah, any tax has to be approved by the general public.
Yes.
So it's not anything that we approve. The city would have to approve it.
We would still have to initiate the ordinance
Well, yeah, but
to put it on the ballot.
yeah, but the city has to approve it. So you're talking about either, going right back in with the CAPC tax, re-establishing the CAPC. I don't know how else you can, pass a tax for advertising. I would think the city would not be able to do that, but just on its own.
Mr. Holyfield?
Pat Mazukis called me to ask me to sign the petition. I told her I would not sign the petition, or will I support it. And I told her, and she said, well, as city council member, you need to have a backup plan. And to me, that's a kind of a catch-22. It almost sounds like we're given an alternative. Go ahead and repeal the CAPC tax because this over here is what we can do next. And I'm really torn about doing that because it sounds like we're supporting getting rid of the CAPC tax, which we're not, hopefully not. And she does have the August 21st to get her signatures. She doesn't have them as of now that I know of. Also, she's misrepresenting herself when she's calling people. She's saying this petition is to take part of the CAPC tax and put it toward infrastructure, which is totally misrepresenting the petition. And I think we can appeal that. I think there's some way of appealing that. Surely that's not legal for someone to say, here, sign this petition. This gets rid of all your property taxes, and it's actually for something totally different. Can she do that? Is that even legal? How do we appeal that? I think we need to look at. But I really encourage anybody in the public who has signed this petition and did not know what they're signing or wasn't totally educated about it, call her up and tell her, take your name off that petition. Because I've had more than one person tell me that she's misrepresented herself and what this petition is. And that's got to be illegal. I can't believe that person can do that. So I'm torn. I agree with you, but also I told her I'm not going to do this because it looks like I'm supporting getting rid of the CAPC tax, which I'm totally not. And until she gets the signatures, there's really nothing to plan. I mean, she's struggling to get them. She's still calling people and stuff, so I don't know.
Mr. McClung?
I'm certainly think the city should endorse, with a newspaper ad or something where we endorse the CAPC and support the CAPC and the benefits that the taxes they collect provide the city. I mean, that's the driving force, to help the tourism industry. That was what it was done for, and that's the primary purpose, is to bring people to town. And so I think we need to support it and get behind the grassroots movement to go door to door. I'm not exactly sure how. And I think the CAPC has talked about this, and the tax collectors themselves. It's been discussed, and so people get the right understanding. Just in the newspaper and the social media is not going to do it. It needs flyers taken door to door. Shake hands and greet people.
Ms. Slane?
I guess my just extreme concern is if this goes through. If this goes through, how long are we going to have to wait? We have to wait until the next what? Or you put it out for a vote? How does that work?
Well, we'd have to call an election if we really wanted to put it on the ballot.
We'd have another election that would be held on there. I would hate to say this, but I hate to remind most of the council members, except for Mr. McClung, maybe Mr. Myers, was on city council when we tried to pass a 1-cent sales tax to support the auditorium and our infrastructure, and it failed. Okay. So there's no guarantee on that. And of course, there was people out there against the tax, period. But as Mr. Holyfield said, there's some misrepresentation, and this has not been thought out. The CAPC tax cannot be spent for anything except on tourist-related facilities. It cannot be spent for infrastructure. It can't be spent on water and sewer. It can't be spent on sidewalks. It's only on tourism-oriented. Mr. Holyfield?
And it also can't be spent on defending itself. CAPC cannot spend money to advertise to defend the CAPC. That's considered lobbying, and that's restricted by law. Mm-hmm. So CAPC we as a commission can plan, but we can't say, let's take this money and buy newspaper ads or signs or anything like that.
No.
So
they can.
Businesses can do that.
They can hold workshops and in public forums, which has been done before. This isn't the first time that they've tried to abolish the CAPC. This is actually the second time. The first time they actually arrested members of the CAPC for having a, quote, illegal meeting. And so, that tax, that failed. I don't remember how much, but it felt pretty significant. Mr. Myers?
If I'm not mistaken, reading the authorizing laws and our ordinance, CAPC can spend some money on the city park.
City what?
City park.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They can do that, which,
And we do.
We have done that several times.
well, I mean, like making an annual budget for the city park.
There's a line item in our budget for parks.
And advertising that, because that will help citizens. And you know, there was a time when shop owners paid a percent into the CAPC, and didn't the restaurants and lodging pay a little less? When
They went, it was 2 cents across the board for everything, hotels, restaurants, lodging, and retail. They took that away and made it 3 cents just on hotels and restaurants.
I know there's a lot of griping in the retail business about saving the CAPC, but they don't have any skin in the game. So
Well,
Pardon me? What do you mean they don't have any skin in the game?
they don't collect money to support the CAPC.
We all have skin in the game.
That's all.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Hopefield?
So how do you write it? Write it something that says, if this gets passed or done away with, then this goes into effect. I don't know if legally you could even put that on the ballot, you know. And I agree with the mayor. Our citizens are taxed and taxed and taxed. To say, let's put something else on the ballot, even 1%, I think majority of people here would not vote for it. So, you know.
Ms. Slane?
I don't think he's commented.
yeah, and I just wanted to point out, you know, some of us business owners have done studies on this, and if this tax is repealed, every single citizen within the city limits would have to spend a little over $21,000 a day to make up for that lost revenue. Because with that CAPC tax going away, then it's also going to affect your sales tax, your liquor tax, whatever taxes are added on. Nobody's coming into the city, so nobody's spending this money, tax is not collected. So you think infrastructure is bad now? Wait till that happens. But every single person within the city limits would have to spend over $21,000 a day to make up for this lost revenue.
Ms. Slane?
There is no doubt in my mind that I do not want this to happen. But it's going to vote. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's going to get it on there. I mean, this is exactly how our entertainment district was canceled. It was everything lined up, ready to go, and then signed a couple of papers, and it's done. I think it's a huge disservice to our business community, especially, and then trickle-down effect to our residents if we don't have a backup plan, whatever that looks like. I'm not saying that, you know, creating an ordinance and putting that on there to vote, but I mean, that's the only thing that would allow us to keep moving forward, and even maybe keep us moving forward, if it's written correctly, in a better way. If we could write an ordinance that it would allow us to collect a tax that we could use on infrastructure. The CAPC, you can't use anything on infrastructure, very minimal. And we are 100% tourism driven. So, you know, I think it would be, we have to have something in place in the case that this goes through. I don't have any answers for that, but I don't think not talking about it is the way to go.
Ms. Greenie?
So she has not approached me for any signatures, but if she's misrepresenting, is there any way we can stop that because of that reason? Or is it hearsay? Like, if people are saying, well, she's saying this just to get it, I don't know that we can count on that unless somebody comes and says, you know, testifies to that. But is there any way to stop it knowing that it's being misrepresented to the people?
I don't think you can stop anybody from saying anything. I don't know how the petition's written. Have you seen it? Has anybody seen the petition?
Like an appeal because of misrepresentation?
Couldn't they make an ethics commission complaint? Ethics commission Would that fall under the Ethics Commission complaint?
They're not under,
No.
Huh?
they're not under
Citizen.
that. It's-
It depends on how the petition reads.
Well, I've seen the petition. It's just to revoke the CABC.
Well, then if people read that and sign it, they haven't read a petition that they signed, they're kind of stupid.
But based on misinformation from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Mr. Amazino?
Yeah, I think, anybody can start a petition for whatever. That's the thing. She has the right to do that. Has she thought clearly about the repercussions? Absolutely not. But if she gets the required number of signatures, then this will go to the county clerk's office, and they will decide if it's been legally done. And that's on them. It's not on who's signing it. Is she misrepresenting what she's saying? I don't know. She hasn't approached me with it. I've seen the ordinance from both our city clerk and the county clerk. I will tell you they do not match. So that's one obstacle she's going to face when it comes up to submitting her signatures. And if there are other obstacles, like we've all said that we've heard, which Ms. Gruning referred to as hearsay, they're going to look at this stuff and find out if it's the truth. And it may go to the ballot, it may not, especially if she's doing the things that we are hearing she's doing. Right, Forrest?
I think we all share your concerns, Ms. Slane. I'm not sure at this point in time of the action that the city council can take or should take outside of, I think, just putting out the word of making sure that the public knows that what this petition is being circulated is not a true representation of what the CAPC does and how the money's being spent on there. And if they're being told something different, they need to talk to city council members, the CAPC. The CAPC's had a meeting, a public hearing already, or not a public hearing, but a workshop.
Not over the petition.
It wasn't a CAPC, it was just a private citizen workshop. It was home, that's right.
HOE.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's going to be more come up. And now the CAPC can hold a public discussion also to discuss this at that point. And I think that's proper forum to get the word out. And I think the word's getting out there with the newspapers and social media. But we need to let everybody know, absolutely.
One thing to say about it. When I asked Ms. Mazukis why she's doing this, she said, this has been going on for 40 years and it's not working. What other people have told me is that there's a group of people in town that just want to do away with tourism, that they loved the town 40 years ago. It eked out a little existence and living with tourists during the summer and closed during the wintertime, and they went to Mexico and played on the beach in the wintertime. And they wanted to back up the clock and go back to what that was. So it's not really what the CAPC is doing right or wrong. It's that they just don't like tourism. They don't like the motorcycles. They don't like the crowds. Just go back to the way it used to be.
40 years ago, there were as many or more tourists here than there is today.
It is what?
That's the
40 years ago, there were as many as there is today, if not more,
Yeah.
tourists in town.
In the wintertime, this town closed. It's a ghost town during the winter, and that's not the case.
Well, that's not exactly true.
I used to visit it, and it was nothing
Right.
much going on.
Well, I'm not going to get into semantics.
There were
about
two
any of
bars
that.
open.
That's pretty close.
the ones he had.
Hi hat.
All right, any further discussion? All right, hearing none, anybody have anything on the agenda setting? If not, you know how to put it on there. Okay, Mr. Fung, you want to start off with council comments?
Yeah, I do have a question, I guess, for the city, for parks or whoever that you can check on it. That I'm not sure, are the smoking signs have been taken down in Basin Park? Apparently, they're not there, and smoking is occurring. So, I mean, that was a big to-do when we passed that, and so I think that needs to be. If they're down, they need to be reinstated, and it needs to be
I'll
followed
ask the
through
parks
with.
director in the morning.
Okay. That's it.
Mr. Meyer?
I was wondering the same thing, Nate. Thank you for bringing that up. Now, you know, the CAPC has been controversial for years, and it's not just been citizens wanting to get rid of it. It's been businesses getting angry with the CAPC, you know, and lawsuits and accusations, false accusations and so forth. It's a small town. There's a lot of money involved in tourism, and you're not going to be able to avoid some of that stuff, but I can tell you that people's reputations have been hurt seriously because of the fights over controlling CAPC.
Ms. Lane?
I think we're at a turning point in our community, especially with this coming to vote. I think we should think outside of the box and try to protect ourselves. This is, you know, scary and uncharted territory, but I just don't want to be caught and it hit us in the face. Tourism is our only industry, so I would hate to see it shut off because of a simple ballot like this. So please educate yourselves, speak to a representative. Thank you.
Mr. Almanzino?
Yeah, I kind of want to expand on what Ms. Lane said, is that for those people who are trying to get this or sign this petition and get it on the ballot, you know, you need to start thinking about what it is you want from the city that you live in. Do you want continued infrastructure improvement? Do you want continued police support? Do you want continued fired EMS? Because without this tourism tax and the taxes that are subsequently collected because of those tourists, you're not going to have those things anymore. You talk about a budget, there's hardly going to be any budget for this city if those things go away. So pay attention to what you're signing. If you want to get involved, get out from behind your keyboard and come to an actual meeting. Let your voice be heard instead of, I have to watch my language, getting behind a keyboard and being so vocal about it when you never attend a meeting, when you never come to a workshop. Start coming to the meetings and ask us questions. That's what we're there for. Other than that, I wanted to say, for those of you who participated in Jazz Weekend this past weekend, it was really fun. It was good to see all the musicians out and the jazz music. So thanks to Wendy over at Gottahold for putting all that together. It was a lot of fun. That's all.
Mr. Holyfield?
Well, I would voice my opinion about the CAPC tax. We do have a workshop this Wednesday at 4 o'clock on VRBO. It's like VRBO. It's VRBO is a new system that we could collect money on. It's at 4 o'clock this Wednesday. We're having a special meeting just before that to talk about the financial director position. We have one good applicant we pre-interviewed today. He's a local person, has a master's in accounting. Seems like a good fit, but we'll present it to the council, to the commission on Wednesday. And that's it.
Ms. Green?
I don't know what more I can add after all of this, but I do agree with Mrs. Lane about it's a turning point for Eureka, even putting aside CAPC, which is very important to the city with the taxes, but we're at a turning point where we have to look at, I think you mentioned too, about customer nuances and making sure that we are still looking for the right customers. We're reaching out to them and bringing them into town. And what do we need to do or change differently to bring the younger generation in? And yes, Wendy at Gottahold did a great job. I went to a few places this weekend, and I think everybody had a really nice jazz band in, and it seemed like everywhere I went, they had people there. So, or maybe we followed each other to the different places.
I kind of want to, we talked about the CAPC tax, and Ms. Lane talked about how we're 100% tourism tax, and I used to say we're about 75-25, but when COVID came and hit us, we only had 2 members of the city council, I think at that time, on council. And when we first got our tax statement down, we were down 45% in taxes for that month. The options for the city council at that time, if that was to continue on, as Mr. Alvanzino said, was to lay off police and fire. That was the only options we had. Public Works was right next to it. So all of a sudden, we're laying off our people that do our infrastructure just because we didn't have our tax. Since then, I've revised my estimate on tourism. I think we're 100%. In March, when that happened, you could walk down Spring Street when the hotels were closed, the restaurants were closed, the business shop didn't have anybody coming down the street. They closed. On a Saturday afternoon, you could roll a bowling ball down Spring Street and not hit a car, much less a person. It was literally a ghost town. And that's the ramifications of when you don't advertise and tourism doesn't come to this city. We're very fortunate. We've got the best industry in the world, the cleanest industry. I wouldn't trade our industry for any other city in the world. And the place that we live, I don't care, the people, I was here 40 years ago, and tourism was here then. Tourism always been part of our community. The people who moved here who don't want tourism just want to close the door because most of them came from somewhere else, and they just want to shut the door on what it was. So, get out and talk to people and make sure that you know what you signed. If you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to call Pat and tell her you want your name taken off on there. And going on, and speaking of employees, employers, we do have a new building inspector that's going to be starting Monday. A gentleman named Paul Sutherland. He owns the Elmwood House. He and his wife across the street's been here for about 8 years. He's got over 40 years of experience in construction, and I think he's going to be a good inspector for us. So I'll bring him into the council once we get him established and everything for the council to meet. So as far as activities and events going, we have the 11th Annual Summertime in the Ozarks, August 16th through the 18th. A lot of people will be coming in from out of state for that. And we've got Music in the Park Friday the 16th from 4 to 6 from a group called March to August. And the following day, Music in the Park on Saturday, we have the Nace Brothers. And then August 23rd through the 25th, we have our 32nd annual Volkswagen weekend. So we'll have a lot of Volkswagens be coming into town. And that same weekend, we'll have Music in the Park with Jesse Dean. And then the parade for the Volkswagen parade will be the 24th, that Saturday at 3 p.m. And then the Basin Park Concrete Series for Saturday, the 24th, from 4 to 6 is Paul McDonald's. So we got a lot of activities going on and a lot of things, and people are here. So get out and enjoy it, and especially this wonderful weather if we could keep on having it. So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you all.